Hi, I'm Todd Moss. I'm an assistant professor of entrepreneurship at Syracuse University. The literature on hybrid organizations being organizations that mix economic kinds of purposes with social or environmental purposes. The research on hybrid organizations has been mostly internal facing. So the tensions that arise when different groups within the organization try to work together. And we realized that there was not really an external facing component to the research. In other words, how do outsiders view or reward hybrid organizations? And so we decided to take a resource acquisition perspective and to try to determine how the language or the words that these hybrid organizations use will affect the way in which they acquire their resources. We used Kiva, which is an online prosocial crowdfunding website that connects individuals, normal people like you and me, with in usually the developing world, with micro enterprises, micro entrepreneurs in the developing world. And so Kiva acts as an intermediary between these two groups. And so we had information from Kiva about the entrepreneurs, these micro enterprises, and about the individuals who are lending money to them. The prosocial crowdfunding website is a lending website, so it's not philanthropy and it's not investment, venture capital kinds of things. It's lending money to these micro enterprises who then repay it back, repay the principal back to the online crowdfunding lenders. One of the outcomes is the length of time it takes for these loans to be funded online, and which Kiva provided that information. So Kiva let us know what we did for this research was to examine the language that these entrepreneurs use in their online narratives. They tell a story about, here's my business, hello, my name is so-and-so, I'm looking for this loan to buy goats, and tell perhaps about their family or what their job is about, why they're going to use the money. And so we examine these narratives for hybrid themes. In other words, using computer-assisted textual analysis, how often did they talk about economic kinds of themes, so profits, sales, revenues, and how much did they talk about these social or environmental themes like clean water and empowerment and healthcare and education. And we compared the rates of occurrence of these themes in their narratives. Because Kiva provided them to us and then related that to, well, how does that presentation relate to the time with which they took to fully fund their loan online. And what we found was that these narratives that balanced both, in other words, equal amounts, so to speak, of social and environmental and with economic, it actually took longer to fund than those that emphasized one or the other, which was unexpected. We found that micro enterprises that emphasized social had a 5 times larger impact than those that focused on the economic. We also found that over time, in our sample, that these micro enterprises tended to increase their emphasis on social themes while keeping the same emphasis on economic themes over time. And so that was an unexpected finding, because the nature of Kiva, the tagline is loans that change lives. So crowdfunders like you and me going to this website know that we're providing a loan in order to help a business, and yet that business has a social purpose or an environmental purpose to it. So all of them, these are loans to poor people in developing countries typically. So it's raising them out of poverty. It's the nature of the business is a hybrid nature. Help them make money so they can also help their families. And yet, the individuals who are lend on the website fund the ones emphasizing social more quickly than those that fund just purely economic. The implications for practice are that audiences seem to favor knowing about the social impact that the organization is about. They seem to take for granted the economic, that everyone needs to make money, and everyone needs that financial economic return. But yet emphasizing the social is more appealing to these external audiences. Now, what we hope to see for follow-on research is how this might differ with more sophisticated audiences. Kiva is all about crowdfunding. Everyone, ordinary people like you and me, not sophisticated investors. So these findings differ somewhat from other work about, say, impact investing, where you have institutional investors going to organizations where they want to see there's definitely an economic component to that. We think that those groups might place a higher emphasis on the economic component, these sophisticated institutional investors, compared to everyday people like you and me.